Welcome back to the Milwaukee Show, and today we are talking about game number 2, where the Florida Panthers take it 4-1, and they are just 2 steps away from lifting the Stanley Cup as they own this series 2-0, and oh boy, oh my, this is scary for the Edmonton Oilers, because this team, in a game like this, look hopeless, especially towards the end, where you can say, oh, they're fighting hard, you know, they're just getting out there, they're keep their dignity, they're blah, blah, blah. No, this is them showing, yeah, we're dead. Like, we don't have anything. We've thrown everything at freaking Bobrovsky, and we can't score against him. And look at the one goal that they score, right? It's a goal like the Panthers. It's a goal that naturally develops. They didn't force anything. They allowed it to naturally progress, where the defenseman can jump up in the play. It's a 2-on-1, and they score, right? By beating Bobrovsky on a smart play. Those are the plays that are going to beat Bob, right? We've seen it before. It's not these all-out crazy plays, because he's there. He's there for those clutch plays. You have to get those naturally developing, like, opportunities where Bob has to be like, okay, I gotta be ready. Oh, like, the good 5-hole goal. It's a smart goal by Ekholm. You know why? It's a type of goal that the Panthers would score in their complete game. This is just another showing that the Panthers are the most complete team in all of the playoffs and why they're here at this point. And I don't want to take any credit away from the Oilers. They are 100% a great team. But I would definitely say that they've been a huge victim of circumstance. Round 1 against the LA Kings. We know they own their ass. Round 2 against the Vancouver Canucks. Canucks had no right being in the playoffs. Like, I don't want to say no right in the playoffs, but they clearly are not a Stanley Cup, like, contending team yet. And they took the Oilers to the limit. The Dallas Stars had just played 2 series against the Knights and the Avalanche, and now they're up against a storming Oilers with so much speed. They were just outbeaten, outplayed, tired as hell. They played against so many teams, and they did it last year where they played so hard through 2 rounds that they just finally collapsed by the conference final. But now they have a team in the Panthers, the fucking Panthers. This team that has beaten Andrei Vasilevsky and has shut down the amazing offense of the Tampa Bay Lightning. They poked the bear and they broke the bear of Jeremy Swayman and the Bruins, who have a great defensive play. And then they beat the best goalie in the world, Igor Shesterkin, who was on a madman run to win the Stanley Cup, and they somehow figured out a way to beat him. And now you think the Edmonton Oilers, with their incomplete game and horrible defense and goaltending, are going to have any chance against the Panthers? No! They have no chance, and it shows in every single aspect of this game. The offense, the Panthers, they might not make these flashy plays, they might not get these breakaways, because they don't have to. They play a nice conservative play, where they get into the offensive zone, and they just circle around, they get into the zone, they curl up the wall, they pass to the defenseman, they send it in deep, and they create those plays. They naturally allow them to develop. They get pucks around the net, they go behind the net, they circle around, they cycle the puck, they make nice plays happen, they get pucks to the net, they challenge them, and they just keep the Oilers moving, and those plays will come. They look for those tip shots, like they're looking for all sorts of plays. They can score on the rush, because here's what happens. The Panthers, they're a conservative team. They play a great conservative game, where they don't force any of these plays to happen, right? Because the Oilers, they try to get these plays where they stand they high up in the ice, where they can get those long passes up and get those breakaways on net. But the Panthers, right? Hockey, to me, being a hockey player, to me, it is all about a game about making your opponent make mistakes and you to recover from them. The Panthers barely make any mistakes, and when they do, they fix them. Look at that play between when McDavid got that breakaway against Matthew Tkachuk. Matthew Tkachuk is just on his ass the whole time, getting his stick between his legs, whacking the stick, making sure he just can't make a smart play, because McDavid knows he's there. But by making him stumble with the puck, right, he's having to make him slow down, right? If Tkachuk was just, like, trying to keep up with him and, like, trying to look for that to check, McDavid's like, okay, I can hold on to the puck. By him getting his stick in there, making him screw up, he's making McDavid have to be like, oh, shoot, I have to watch the freaking puck. Oh, I can't do anything, and then just give it up to Bobrovsky. The Panthers have done it over and over again, where they make these smart, conservative plays where they're standing back behind the play. They don't give a clean breakaway to anyone, and they don't give a clean break to anyone in the offensive zone. Because the Oilers might make these flashy plays with Hyman crashing the net or McDavid making a nice toe drag where they get around the defenseman or some winger and they can get into this slot area. But what happens, right? Do we ever see them like get into this area and then he can make like a nice another toe drag for a backdoor like backhand shot? No. You know why? Because once they get around that one guy, the Panthers are like, okay, in a good position, track, and we either blocked it or he has no chance to score and he just shoots it into us or Bobrovsky. And they do this over and over again. The Panthers have such an amazing shutdown play. They just neutralize and they trap everything that the Oilers can throw at them. And then when they go back down the other end of the ice, they can just hound and hassle the Oilers. The Nico Mikkola goal, right? It's this kind of example where they allow their plays to naturally develop and they come when they do, right? Because look at what happens. They make the Oilers make these mistakes where they come crashing in on the offense. They've got like a big lineup. Everyone's being sucked down deep by the defense. This is the Nico Mikkola goal. Everyone is sucked down this way. Mikkola comes into the zone, pass across, boom! Laser right to the net. And Skinner can't save that one, right? And it's just a play like that. Then the Rodriguez goal, right? The Rodriguez one, where Bouchard literally just passes it to Rodriguez. He's like, oh, okay. Yeah! And then they all celebrate. It's the same thing with game number 1, the Darnell Nurse goal, where it's a simple play to the slot. Nurse is right here. If his stick is on the ice, it's an intercepted pass, but no stick on the ice. You should have listened to Red Green. Puck goes right to the slot. Boom, puck's in the back of the net. And it's the same thing over and over again. The Rodriguez power play, right? They just play a simple power play, and the momentum starts to roll, and that is what the Oilers could not do. They kept giving up too many plays. They had no momentum going for them, and they just couldn't recover over anything, right? They just never could get the puck on the stick for a consistent amount of time and really control the play for a little bit, and they just never really had any of that momentum going for them, and it was just the same thing over and over again. Because here's the biggest issue is the Panthers. They can roll out a line on the ice. Forsling gets a good play. They get a good shift in there, and that can continue to the next line where they get on the ice. Momentum's going the Panthers' way, and they can roll onto the Verhaeghe line. Then they can roll onto the Lundell line. Then they can roll on back onto the Tkachuk line, and they can roll 3 lines with 3 good defensive pairings, and they can do that over and over again, right? The Oilers can't. They literally have to take breaks between their good plays, because once like the McDavid line goes out there and it's McDavid and Draisaitl and Hyman, and they have their nice shift, they have to put out Kane and Carrick and McLeod and Fogle, where they put these guys on the ice, and it's just like, oh, okay, so our shift was dead, because those bottom lines, I don't care who you are, you cannot convince me of anything. You're just you're just a homer if you think this. The Oilers' depth is incredibly bad, and you can't win a Stanley Cup with one good line. We've seen it happen with the Maple Leafs, right? And this is what happens when you're a victim of circumstance, where you have a team that can score at will and the Kings can't do anything about it. Then the Vancouver Canucks have a terrible defensive system as well, but they can almost score just enough times, but they just don't have the firepower of the Oilers. And then they run into a team like Dallas who has no gas left in the tank. The Panthers can do this all night long, and they've been doing it for 2 years now. Last year, they did the same thing against all the teams that they played up against into the Stanley Cup final. This year, they're doing it, and they're finally able to do it in the final, because they have a team where half of their game is nothing. And it just goes to show you, because that goalie pull at 6 minutes, right? The 6 minutes left goalie pull. What is Knobloch going to put on the ice, right? Is he going to put McDavid, Hyman, Draisaitl, Hopkins, and Bouchard on the ice for and Ekholm for 6 minutes straight? No. Is that who he's going to put on the ice for those 6 guys? Yes. So who is he going to put out there when those guys get tired? I don't know. You're going to put Evander Kane and, Connor Carrick, and then, who? Holloway? These guys are not going to get the job done. The Panthers, if they needed a goal, if they need to pull the goalie, then they can pull the goalie, and they can put out, Barkov, Verhaeghe, Tkachuk, Montour, and I don't know, some other two guys. But then they can put out there like Barkov, Tarasenko, Bennett, and Ekblad, whoever I haven't said. You get what I'm saying. They can roll out two different lines of guys and keep that momentum rolling. And they can do that throughout the game, especially on 5-on-5. But I will say, after talking about 5-on-5 real quick, the penalties this game were ridiculous. They were so weak this game. I don't know who the referees were, but they were insanely weak. So, like, on both sides. Both sides, like, insanely weak. But then you get the Draisaitl flying elbow. Literally a flying elbow to Barkov, which is obviously a play intentionally on purpose. And all that is a 2 minutes? Like, what? Like, how is that not a suspension? That is one of the clearest, like, okay, here's the, like, he puts his elbow up and then crashes it into his face. And no player, right? Like, sometimes it's like, okay, I'm gonna go in like this, and the guy's head is just like in the wrong way, but this is the way you have to hit him. You can clearly see Draisaitl's going in, he's like, okay, here we go, arm up, boom, like to the head, right? There's no necessity for him to get the elbow up like that high. If he was going in like this is a different story. But he like goes in like this, gets the elbow up, leans upwards clearly, flying elbow right to Barkov. What? How is that just 2 minutes? That is insane to me. But I don't know. All this to say that the Panthers' complete game where they can play and recover, even from injury, if Barkov goes down, Lundell can be rolled onto the ice and play his exact position in all those situations because he's been mentored and they have a great depth system. If McDavid got injured like that, the Oilers are just dead. Everyone would wave the white flag and they might end the series right there. Because the Oilers would have no hope. They would have no chance if Draisaitl or McDavid, either of them are just out of the series. Barkov, he's down, doesn't matter. They can roll Lundell onto that position and they can still have just the same firepower. It'll sting, but they can still do it because they have all the defense and the depth and the goaltending there to win the Stanley Cup. The Florida Panthers, they've owned this series so far. You can say whatever you want about Game 1, about them dominating, but that's just because the Oilers were so much firepower, but none of those chances were even close to going in the back of the net, right? You never saw it was like, oh, like it was Bobrovsky was saving everything. It never felt like they could beat him, and even if they did, they won the game 3-0. The Panthers still scored goals, and to me, this is just a series where it's like this. I predicted this one to go 5, and I would not even be surprised if it ends sooner than that. The Panthers have complete dominance over this whole series so far, and it's just one thing after another, where the Panthers, they just own. And by the way, the commentary having to bring up every single power play that the Oilers have stopped the last 36 or whatever, I get it. I don't need you reminding me every second. I get they have a good penalty kill. Everyone knows that. And, like, I get it. They have a good penalty kill. But they hype it up because they know the Panthers are eventually going to score on it. And then they do with Rodriguez's goal. The Panthers own the Edmonton Oilers for multiple reasons. The defense can shut down everything the Oilers can throw at them. Edmonton can't get any momentum going up against them. And I don't care what McDavid says that he's excited for people to start doubting them again. Good for you. Good for you, because it's always a good thing to have doubt on your side. You know, it's always a good thing that people don't believe in you anymore, right? Like, that's always been such a good thing, is when people are like, no, you do suck. Like, you've proven it. Like, oh yeah, thanks, bud. That's gonna make me better. Like, that just please. And then people like online, it was so funny. Like Chris Knobloch, was it him who said that he's not ready to press the panic button yet? What else is he gonna say? Yep, we're screwed, boys. Giving up Edmonton. Go home. Don't even sell your tickets. Don't even mind showing up. The Edmonton Oilers are screwed, and I have to say that. They are going to win a game in this series. I do believe that. They're too good to not, and I would not be surprised if Game 3 is that. But if Game 3 they don't win, and this series goes 3-0, oh boy. I don't care what the hell, I don't remember if it was Spit and Chicklets or what other account that I saw say this, but I saw some account they said if there was any team, if there was any guy, McDavid I think that was, that could undo this or come back from this, it's them. And I'm like, you're wrong. You're kind of right, but you're wrong. McDavid, sure. Draisaitl, sure. But this is a team effort. Hockey is a team sport. You cannot go out there and roll one good line, and that is proven to not work. This team is screwed. They are destined to fail. The Edmonton Oilers are going to lose this and are not going to win the Stanley Cup. The Florida Panthers own this series. They've proven it throughout this entire playoff so far that they have every inch that they need to win the Stanley Cup. And they are putting it on as an amazing show so far in this finals. But it has been hell of a finals so far to watch, and has been so fun. But anyways, I guess that's all I got to say. So thank you for watching this. If you made it this far, please, I'm begging you, please subscribe. Until next time, too sweet, have an amazing day, and ta-ta for now.